There's something special that Chris Abel brings to this every day. You have to understand, I always say there's a couple of things that always win. Intelligence and passion will always win, right? Enthusiasm. And Chris has both. Chris also happens to be particularly open-hearted because every time we get real on the show, he's like embraces it always. But the cool part is that every single week we get to talk about new tech and cool ideas. Lots of times it's robots. Makes me wonder if Chris is a robot. But we talk about all of these things. And then you take these few weeks leading up to Christmas and everything gets a little bit better. Chris, we're going to talk some security stuff to get started today that everyone needs to know before they start heading out on the roads over the next few weeks. Where do you want to go first?
Well, I think the big, fun, fantastic news has been the success of this app called TraffickCam. So this is all about sex trafficking, child abuse, huge, horrible problem that's been happening. The issue has been that when the people who commit these crimes advertise their crimes online, they're often doing it with photographs, selfies that they force their victims to take in hotel rooms. So law enforcement has often said, where is that hotel? What is that hotel room taken from? How can we figure that out? And there's been a lot of tech companies trying to work on that. Well, at the St. Louis University, there is a professor there, Abby Storiano. She's come up with a really cool system. She wants to use artificial intelligence to be able to figure out those photos. The problem has been you can take the photograph from the victim and then try to match that up with the photos that hotels offer of their rooms. But the hotel rooms are way too commercial. Their photos are way too clean, way too perfect. So she has developed an app that she has released called TraffickCam. You can find it at TraffickCam.com. She's asking travelers that when you travel, when you arrive at your hotel room, pull out your phone and take photos of the hotel room. Take identifiable photos, photos of the bathroom, photos of any art on the wall, any sculptures on the bedside tables, things like that, and submit it to the system. And that way she can train her artificial intelligence to better match up and identify the photos that they find when crimes have been committed. This is a really great idea. It's a wonderful system. Already they've had some success. She said she works with the National Center for Missing and Abused Children. They were alerted to a live stream that was happening from a hotel room, and somebody was being abused. They took a screenshot from that live stream. They fed it to the TraffickCam system, which managed to match it up to the exact same hotel room with using the GPS metadata from the person who submitted their photo. They can locate the exact hotel, and within the short amount of time, they managed to get law enforcement to get to the hotel and to shut down the activity.
Wow.
So it's already starting to work. It's a fantastic thing to share and report. And yes, you can go to TraffickCam.com and download the app and try it out yourself.
And it's not a big deal. I mean, you just walk it in your room. You're gonna probably take pictures anyway, and then all you're doing is contributing and doing a little bit of help. I think that's a cool idea. And even worst case scenario in this, it might not be the room because they are pretty generic, but it would get the hotel and it would get probably even the floor for the theme of the room. Like, I mean, it really narrows it down.
Well, you have to imagine that each room is going to be affected by the amount of sunlight that comes into the windows.
Right.
So that room may be altered by the way that it looks in terms of the amount of light that room gets. You'd be able to pick up on that with your photo. And then, of course, it's any changes. If somebody came in and made repairs to a hotel room, well, that's going to be identifiable in your photos too. They say it works really, really well. So this is great news.
Oh, cool stuff. All right, let's get into the shopping mode. Chris Abel is here, real Chris Abel, KRISABEL, on the socials and the .com as well. Sneakers. Now, I was not into sneakers at all until I met my young millennial friend Ryan. And millennial friends are expensive to have, but they're fun to have. Are you a sneakerhead there, Chris?
I'm not a sneakerhead, but what I've had to deal with is that since I first started doing this job, one of the common comments I get is, hey, when are you going to go on and talk about a new Get Smart shoe? When are you going to have one of those shoes from Get Smart? You know, when am I going to tune in and see you making a phone call from your shoes? And so I've always tried to keep my eyes open for somebody who's actually turning shoes into a gadget. So I am happy to say that there's a designer in Japan. His name is Gustavo Bonzanini. And to celebrate the fact that it's now the 35th anniversary of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. He took a pair of Nike Air Max 90 shoes, and then he turned them into a Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Wow.
So that you can walk into your room, pull off your shoe, and then plug in a pair of retro RCA cables, red, yellow, white, into the tongue of the shoe, put the other end to your television, and now you can start playing retro SNES games on your TV. It's fantastic. I love the fact that what he's done is he's designed it so that the colors and the design of the shoe actually complement the original colors and the design of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Everything is all compact in terms of the electronics. He's managed to shrink it all down so it fits in the tongue of the shoe, so it doesn't really detract from you wearing the shoes or using the shoes as shoes. But yes, I can finally report there is finally a shoe gadget that you can pull off just like in Get Smart. You're not making a phone call, but now you're playing retro games on your TV.
That's so cool. I like how the cables come out the top there like that. It looks neat just even sitting there. That's fun stuff.
The old retro cables, the red, yellow, and white. I mean, yes, if you're going to go retro, go all the way.
Well, anybody can make a plastic box that looks like the old one. Come on.
Yeah.
This is creative.
It's
All
very,
right, Chris
very
Abel
smart.
is here. Let's go to Amazon Prime, although we're not doing Black Friday or Cyber Monday with this one, are we?
No, this is something that may be a little disturbing depending upon how big of a fan you are of watching movies and TV shows. So, I mean, a lot of people, they love to watch TV shows with subtitles on. What if you like to watch shows that are dubbed, meaning it's in another language, you don't want to read, you just want to hear actors performing it? Amazon Prime is now testing the idea that instead of having human actors do the voices, the English voices, they're now testing both English and Spanish, having artificial intelligence do the voices. And they're doing this test initially with anime shows, so the Japanese cartoons that are very, very popular, just to see how it's working. But you can imagine that that could then extend towards movies, towards TV shows, all in another language. In the initial rollout has not favored very well.
No.
Fans absolutely hate it. They say that the voices just do not match well. It's not just the acting, but the translation. It's like, what are they talking about? It just doesn't seem to make any sense. I understand Amazon Prime trying to find a solution here, but the serious crime is that people are reporting that they're doing this even for shows that have already been dubbed. So you would think that Amazon Prime would only do this for shows they didn't have dubbing in place. But no, they're actually going through their catalog. You have shows that already have been dubbed by English actors and saying, no, let's replace those with, computerized voices instead as well. So that's a bit alarming, and especially if Amazon Prime is doing this, then you can bet that other broadcasters and streaming companies are probably testing this out too.
Very alarming. Imagine if we didn't ever hear, I've had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane. I mean,
Right.
That's what we're talking about. I think they have it backwards, Chris. I think they need to not worry about the voices and change the mouths to shape the other language. Because for me, the weird thing isn't the voice. The
Yeah.
weird thing is the mouth doesn't match. If they wanted to use AI, change the mouth.
Yeah. Well, I think, more and more people, they love using subtitles. And, when I encourage people to use subtitles, as often they report back surprised, they say, it sounds like the person's actually speaking that way. Your brain does make the changes. I will quickly add before we get to the end here, one thing you can test out, because we were talking a lot about shopping, is if you go to google.com today and you do a search, look to the right-hand side, you can see AI mode. Google has updated their search engine so that they're now using the latest version of their artificial intelligence, Gemini. Canada now has Gemini 3, but only in English, I'm afraid. Is still going to have to wait for the French version to be rolled out. But right now, we've got Gemini 3 in Canada.
All right, RealChrisAbel.com on the socials. The YouTube channel is a great place to get in touch with Chris as well. Chris Abel, as always. Thank you, sir.
All right. Take care, guys.
Shane Hewitt and the Night Shift. There you go. Some tech things, some fun things, and why not give a stinky old sneaker with video game things? We'll be right back.